Hi, today we're diving into the redirector, a standalone component that anyone can use to power dynamic redirects in their system. I'm here today with Stephen Ludin, the creator of the Harper Redirect component. So, Stephen, what motivated us to create the component?
Well, redirects is something that the modern web needs, especially when you think about SEO and the need to go ahead and not lose the information that's already there. When you have to go ahead and change from one URL to another, you need a redirect. In the old days, it was not as much of an issue, but these days it's absolutely critical.
So, I know that today that we have quite a bit of interest in this component. There seems to be a lot of demand. Well, what on the market today isn't really meeting the need of these companies, and why do we need a central way to manage redirects?
I mean, redirect lookup and management can be is an expense. It's a drain. It's not core to anyone's business to do redirects. Obviously, the DIY is something that's a real way to go about and do it, but you want to be able to do DIY in the easiest, scalable, and most performant way. So enter Harper, a platform upon which you can pretty much build anything. And here we are showcasing the ability to do a scalable and powerful redirect solution.
So, what makes Harper such a good platform to build this type of solution?
Well, there's a few things. First off, it's its flexibility. You really can build practically anything you want to on top of it. The other one what's critical for any of these solutions is its performance. Its performance is, turnaround times we measure in microseconds. Um, and with our, locations we have around the world, we minimize any sort of internet latency as well. So if you want to build a solution that is tailored around this use case with minimal overhead, um, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah. So, what's the kind of scale that this component is built to manage or to handle?
So the component itself, its scale is really a factor of the Harper stack itself. And so I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but hundreds of millions of redirect entries could easily be handled by the stack. It probably goes bigger than that. It's a horizontally scalable system, so adding capacity is really a way of adding more potential for redirects, or any sort of records for this matter. But really, it's just because of the flexibility and power of the underlying platform, the redirect component just inherits all that.
Okay. So, looking from a deployment strategy, how should companies go about deploying this component? Are they looking to kind of centralize around their origin, or is this something that really should be directed closer to the edge where it's near every
Well,
user?
that depends on a company's architecture of the architecture of their app. If, for example, they have a centralized origin that everything goes back to, that would be a perfect place to have this. Especially if the origin itself can go ahead and look up the redirect and reserve the content based upon that. If, however, the user itself or needs to go ahead and chase a redirect, then you want to do it at the edge. Use your CDN, have the CDN call out to Harper and go ahead and get the redirect back to the user as quickly as possible, potentially with the CDN layer caching that redirect. So you get even better performance.
Okay. That makes sense. So, looking at the different companies that are using this component today, can you talk a little bit about the industries that they play in and why they're needing to leverage it?
The biggest user of this is usually commerce. Anyone who wants a user to go ahead and type something into their search engine and have their stuff come up on top is going to be very interested in preserving that SEO type of standing. And so if you have that, and then at some point along the way, you have replatformed and you now have a different set of URLs that you need to serve, that's where you need redirects. Um, so generically is any time that you change uh, your URL structure from A to B, you're going to want redirects if you want to preserve SEO.
Okay. That makes sense. So, getting started with this component, how can somebody get started using it, and kind of what's the golden path for getting it up and running?
Yeah, so um, installing the Harper stack is trivial. You can do it on your own. Absolutely encourage people to download it, run it, get it up and going. And then installing the component is a simple NPM. You just install it right from our open source repository or the NPM repository, and you're up and running. Well, you have to put your data in, but that gets you going there. Alternatively, Harper is happy for larger customers to talk about what we can do to help you get up and running. But this is absolutely it can be a 100% self-service.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing today. That's a lot of great points about the redirector, and we're excited to get this out on the market and see how people use it. Thanks
Great.
for joining us, Stephen.
Glad to help. Thanks.